You pay your credit card bill every month. You never miss the minimum. So why does the balance barely move? Meet Evan. His card balance is $5,000. He is not ignoring it. Every month, he opens the statement, finds the minimum payment, and pays it before the due date. That sounds responsible. And it is better than paying late. But after months of doing the right-looking thing, Evan checks the balance and feels a little sick. It is still almost $5,000. The trap is not that Evan is lazy or bad with money. The trap is that a minimum payment is designed to keep the account current. It is not designed to make the debt disappear quickly. That distinction matters. Paying at least the minimum on time can help Evan avoid a late fee and protect his payment history. But it does not mean that most of his payment is reaching principal. The statement tells him the least amount the account requires this month. It does not tell him that this is the amount that will get him free fastest. Here is an illustrative example. Imagine Evan has a $5,000 balance at a 25% annual percentage rate. That is only an example. Your rate, minimum payment formula, and statement will be different. In the first month, the interest is about $104. If Evan pays $160, only about $56 reaches the balance itself. He pays $160. But the balance falls by roughly $56. That is why minimum payments can feel like running up an escalator that is moving down. And the problem can be easy to miss because the payment itself looks large. Evan sees $160 leave his bank account. His brain registers progress. The statement sees something different: interest was paid first, and only the smaller remainder reduced what he owes. When the balance is high, that difference can repeat month after month. This is not a trick hidden outside the rules. Credit card statements are required to warn that paying only the minimum costs more interest and takes longer. Many statements also show what monthly amount would pay the current balance in 3 years, assuming you make no new purchases. Evan had seen that box before. He had never treated it as a decision tool. There is one more reason the balance can feel stubborn. Credit card interest is often calculated daily from the balance you carry. When you keep adding new purchases while trying to pay down old ones, you are asking your payment to fight 2 jobs at once: yesterday's balance and today's spending. So Evan's first move is not to promise an impossible payoff. It is to stop making the problem bigger. For a while, he moves ordinary spending to the money lane he has already planned for, instead of putting new purchases on the same card. That is not about punishment. It is about giving his payment one clear job: reducing the balance that already exists. His second move is simple and specific. He keeps the minimum payment on time, then chooses a fixed extra amount that he can repeat. Not an extra amount that works only in a perfect month. A real number that survives groceries, transit, and the occasional surprise. For Evan, that number is $40. His plan is no longer, "I will pay more when I feel motivated." It is, every month, the minimum plus $40 goes to this balance. The first extra payment is not dramatic. But it changes the direction. More of his money reaches principal, which means future interest has less balance to feed on. The exact amount matters less than the rule: make the extra payment fixed before the month becomes noisy. If your income is irregular, the fixed amount can be small. The point is to create a floor, not a fantasy. Evan does not use a windfall to create a payment promise he cannot repeat. If he gets overtime or a tax refund, he may add more. But the durable plan is built around the amount he can send in an ordinary month. That is what keeps one difficult week from turning into a missed payment or a new charge on the same card. Evan also starts using his statement differently. He looks for the current balance, the annual percentage rate, the minimum due date, and the 3-year payoff information. He writes those numbers down once a month. This is not a ritual for guilt. It is proof that the plan is working. If the balance is not falling, he can see whether new purchases, interest, or an unrealistic payment target is getting in the way. If you have more than one card, first protect every minimum payment from being late. Then send the extra amount to one chosen balance. This video is not a full debt method comparison. The important part is concentration. An extra $40 scattered across 5 cards is harder to see and harder to sustain than one clear target. He also avoids turning the payoff plan into a race for a perfect-looking credit score. The first goal is simple: keep accounts current, stop the balance from growing, and make principal move. Credit scores and individual card terms can matter, but they do not replace the cash flow problem sitting on the kitchen table. Evan does not assume that every problem can be solved by cutting coffee or working every weekend. Some months, the math is tighter than the plan. If he sees that he cannot make the minimum payment, he acts before the due date. He calls the card company, explains what he can afford, and asks what repayment or hardship options may be available. A company may or may not offer a different plan. There is no guaranteed outcome. But silence is usually more expensive than asking early. If the problem is bigger than one card, Evan considers a nonprofit credit counselor. A legitimate counselor can help someone build a budget and understand a debt management plan. That is different from a company that promises to erase debt, tells people to stop talking to creditors, or tells them to stop making minimum payments. Those promises deserve caution. Months later, Evan opens the same statement. The balance has not vanished overnight. But it is no longer frozen. The payment is doing what he thought it was doing from the beginning, shrinking the debt instead of mostly feeding interest. That is the goal. Not a perfect financial life. Not shame. Just a payment with a job, a balance that finally moves, and a little more room between Evan and the next bill. All examples in this video are illustrative and educational only. This is not personal financial advice. Your best next step depends on your income, debts, card terms, and local support options.